What's up everyone, it's the Martial Commander back with another Star Wars video, and we're going to be hopping right into an Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 6 finale breakdown and review. So here's your one spoiler warning. We open up this episode with Reva on Tatooine searching for Owen and Luke. That doesn't last long as we cut to Vader and the Empire chasing down the Path and Kenobi. The Path needs some time to get that good old hyperdrive functional, and Obi-Wan is willing to step up and lure Vader away. After some arguments from Leia and the rest of the refugees attempting to protect him, we cut back to Owen as he's informed Reva is searching for him. He rushes home, bringing Luke with him. Obviously. In no time we're back on the Path and they all tell Obi-Wan he can't go. Leia even gets a bit emotional, but after some arguing with quite literally everyone and making Haja promise to get Leia back to Alderaan, they agree that it's the only way to keep everyone else alive. Back on Tatooine, Owen gets home and tells Beru about Reva. Owen wants to run, but Beru tells him no way Jose, and they prepare to take her on in a fight while hiding Luke away. Then we cut back to the Path again. Kenobi talks to Leia briefly before taking off and successfully luring Vader. Oh yeah, and Lola's in the ship too, just so Obi-Wan isn't scared and has a reason to go back to Alderaan, I suppose. Anyways, he lands on a planet, Vader follows in hot pursuit. At the same time, Reva is arriving to the Lars home, and they are already prepared for her. Back to the coolest scene ever, in my honest opinion, with Vader and Obi-Wan. Vader has a cool walk-in as he and Kenobi stare each other down. "Have you come to destroy me, Obi-Wan?" Vader asks. Then we get the iconic, "I will do what I must" line, followed by a "then you will die." This immediately turns into an amazing duel. A lot of people don't seem to like the looks of it, but me on the other hand, I absolutely love it. I love how the lightsabers look, the environment, the choreography, the CGI, absolutely everything about this fight. Now I don't think it holds up to Revenge of the Sith, but I don't think anything can hold up to what they did on Mustafar. I'm just gonna admit now, I really don't care about most of what's happening on Tatooine since we're getting a really cool fight scene simultaneously, but things heat up over there too as the Lars fight Reva off. Cut to Kenobi and Vader once again as the duel continues, and this is still so beautiful and amazing in every single way. They seem evenly matched, but Vader is far more powerful. Obi-Wan's mastery of Soresu is keeping him alive, up until we see the full power of the Force. With ease, Vader clears the ground beneath Kenobi, sending him falling, then drops rocks on him, burying him alive. That's one way to end the fight. And Tatooine once again. Owen puts up a great fight against Reva. Considering he's not a Force user, this is a good father right here. He won't let Luke get hurt. Beru puts up a smaller fight, but gets a really good hit in, while Luke takes off and Reva follows. Kabam! Kenobi again. He's pinned under the rocks, using the Force to keep them from crushing him. He hears the voice of Anakin and Vader, almost giving up, but then he sees the flashes of Leia and Luke. He made a promise to come back, and a promise to keep them safe. He throws the rocks off with astonishing force, sending them sky high. The duel continues. The two are still evenly matched, but Kenobi gets the upper hand this time and pelts Vader with boulders. We can see Vader weakening as he not only fights Kenobi, but the Anakin within. His life support system is damaged during the duel, and Obi-Wan takes advantage of this, getting some clean hits in. In this weakened state, Kenobi slices his mask open, and we see the face of Anakin Skywalker. His eyes begin changing, showing the conflict, showing deep down Anakin is still fighting to be alive. We can see the conflict not only through Anakin's eyes, but the red and blue glows that cover his face. Obi-Wan says his name, but is reminded that Anakin is gone. His old friend apologizes for all of it, for everything. As Vader and Kenobi begin to get as emotional as us audience members, he tells him he's not his failure, and the one that truly killed Anakin was Darth Vader. The blue light turns red, and his eyes turn to the Sith yellow. Anakin seems to be truly dead. Unable to kill the man with Anakin's face, Obi-Wan leaves, and Vader shouts for him. This was undoubtedly one of the most emotional scenes in all of Star Wars. It made me cry. I couldn't handle it. It was amazing. Everything about it. We're thrown off as Reva finally finds Luke. This arc really can't compare to what we just had, and you can't really blame the writers. There's not much that can top that, and they did amazing on that Vader and Kenobi stuff. As she gets ready to kill Luke, she sees her younger self, but still tries to go through with it. She can't do this. She can't kill a child. She cannot be like Lord Vader. Obi-Wan arrives to the planet as Beru and Owen search for Luke, but soon after Reva walks in holding his body, placing him on the sand. And in a very obvious course of events, we see he's not dead. Owen and Beru take him away while Kenobi tells Reva she chose a good path. and honored her fallen Jedi friends, the younglings. Her story from here is up to her. And I actually love what they did with her in this episode. This leaves more room to expand her, to develop her, maybe even in her own show. Now we get to see Mustafar again, as Vader talks to Emperor Palpatine, played by Ian McDiarmid once again. Sidious questions his emotions and weakness towards his old master, which Vader quickly shoots down with a quick, "Kenobi means nothing. I serve only you, my master." Then the Imperial March plays, which is perfect. It's so awesome seeing Ian McDiarmid back. I absolutely love him as Palpatine. He looks the role, he plays the role, he is the role. And how Mustafar looks is spectacular. I absolutely love seeing this planet on screen. I want to see it more. It's third in my book to only Kamino and Coruscant. And maybe Naboo is up there. Everyone loves Naboo. Leia is back on Alderaan and dressed up in some clothing resembling not only her role as a queen, but as a leader in all forms, as she wears some gear of Talos. Kenobi lands on the planet, returning Lola, revealing he does know her parents, and mentioning how Leia is wise, discerning, kind-hearted like her mother, Padme, but passionate, fearless, and forthright like her father, Anakin, both exceptional people who bore an exceptional daughter. But he could tell her no more. We get a couple callbacks, call forward quotes, to the original trilogy here too, before he leaves the planet and travels back to Tatooine, where he finally gets to meet Luke with a nice "hello there" and leave him a present. Then it is finally time for him to go. Obi-Wan wanders through the sands of Tatooine, and on his trip he sees an old friend, his former master Qui-Gon Jinn, who reveals he was always there as a Force ghost, but Obi-Wan just wasn't ready to see. He tells his former apprentice they have a ways to go before they travel the sands together. And that's the end of the episode. So with all of these, I obviously do my review, and this one is no different. This was the best episode yet. I've said that a lot because I was very hyped for this show. But seeing Vader and Kenobi fight, the conflict within not only Vader, but Anakin Skywalker attempting to emerge, Palpatine, Force Ghost Qui-Gon, mentions of Leia being like both Padme and Anakin, it was all amazing. So many highs. But there were some things I was expecting too, such as seeing Padme. I just couldn't really care for what was happening on Tatooine, even though Owen, Reva, Luke, and Beru were all awesome in their own right. Owen and Beru were absolute chads this episode. Saying they were just awesome is an understatement. I also loved how beautifully Reva's arc developed, but those were not the peaks of this episode. The Vader and Kenobi fight was so spectacular, yet so emotional. It looked stunning and felt even more stunning. It brought tears to my eyes. I was straight up crying. I can't get over it. Seeing Hayden Christensen's Vader speak to Ian McDiarmid's Palpatine was also crazy sweet, and hearing the Imperial March as he sat within his castle was the perfect finishing touch to that. As I said earlier, I am sad we didn't get to see any flashbacks to Anakin and Padme throughout this show, but at least we got some flashbacks to Anakin and Obi-Wan last episode. I feel like only mentions of Padme was not enough, but you can't blame them if Natalie Portman didn't want to come back. I do think we should have seen like the back of Padme's head. They can put, hair on anyone and call it a flashback, but we didn't, and that's okay. So far though, this review is a 10 out of 10, but it only goes up when Liam Neeson reprises his role as Qui-Gon and interacts with Ian McGregor's Obi-Wan. It really doesn't get better than this, except for if Padme showed up, of course. This might have been my favorite finale ever, after the Clone Wars Season 7, of course. 1,000 out of 10. 1,000,000,000,000 out of 10. I loved it so much. Anyways, that's all for the video, everyone. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments, and if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscription. I absolutely loved everything. I wish we got to see some clones, some more Anakin, and at least some Padme, but I won't complain too much. I'll catch you all in the next one. May the Force be with you.